Making the walk to the cage first, out of Denver, Colorado, the Conundrum, Caleb Crump.
Here is the Conundrum, Caleb Crump, who is only going to cause one thing tonight, David, and that is chaos.
He's walking out into the cage with like an intensity in his eyes. Like he just wants to get in, go to work, and get the job done.
Physically impressive. Clearly, he has been following the strength and conditioning training of the High Altitude Martial Arts Club he represents, cornered tonight by Will Lucian, Jake Chamberlain, and Basil Hafez, UFC welterweight Basil Hafez. He's got all the experience necessary to put on a performance in his APFC debut.
We got two big, long, strong guys. I think it's going to make for an exciting matchup tactically here.
Absolutely agree with you. And some of the notable opponents he's faced over the last couple of years, Torres Finney in April of 2023, lost by unanimous decision, but taking the Punisher Torres Finney to the scorecards is no easy task. And he also came up against Charles Radke at CFFC 110. So high elite opposition that Caleb Crump has been able to get in there with.
And that experience is invaluable. When you're able to go out there and get the rub, so to speak, from the highest caliber of talent, even on the regional level, that's going to carry him so much further in his career than most.
5 finishes as a professional, 4 of them in the first round. Caleb Crump does not get paid by the hour. Here he is in his APFC debut.
And now, making the walk to the APFC cage, out of Richmond, Virginia, Rogelio, Crispy Hands Melgoza.
Perhaps stalling his opponent out a little bit,
Maybe
trying to freeze him out here.
I respect the gamesmanship from Rogelio, Crispy Hands Melgoza, even if it delays the walkout a little bit. Either way, 5 finishes as a professional for him as well. 3 of them in the first round, 2 in the second. 16 years of training, David. That's longer than some of our viewers have been alive.
Coming out of the MMA Institute, we've already seen the caliber of talent and athlete that they put into the cage tonight. And I think he's just going to go ahead and carry the torch, so to speak, tonight.
He began his interest in combat sports because he was a victim of bullying when he was younger, and now he is truly a man on a mission representing the combat sports community here in the cage. When I asked him what he thinks of his opponent, he says all he does is wrestle, and that's not going to be enough against me. Notable training time at Jackson Wink out in Albuquerque for 6 months last year. He plans on training with that crew again after this fight. You know some of the high-level names, the John Joneses that have come from that gym. So if he's getting rounds with them, I have confidence that he's pretty darn solid, David.
You know what, I agree with you. Just being around that caliber of athlete, being around that caliber of fighter, it's going to rub off on you. Even if you don't train with them directly, being in an environment, just that championship mentality, that championship environment is beneficial to anyone.
He's coming off of a first-round submission of Yunus Abastur in April of this year. That was the main event. Yunus was 3-0. His night was toppled by Melgoza. We shall see if Caleb Crumps will follow the same. In his debut, it's Rogelio, Crispy Hands Melgoza.
Ladies and gentlemen, this fight is 3 rounds in the APFC at a catch weight of 180 pounds. Sponsored by GovSmart and Trilogy Electrical. And now introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, a freestyle fighter. He stands 6 feet tall and officially weighed in at 180 pounds. Coming in tonight with a professional record of 6 victories with 5 defeats, and fighting out of Denver, Colorado, the Conundrum, Caleb Crump. And across the cage, his opponent fighting out of the red corner, a striker. He stands 6 feet 1 inch tall and officially weighed in 179 pounds. Coming in tonight with a professional record of 6 victories with 6 defeats and fighting out of Richmond, Virginia, Rogelio, Crispy Heads Melgoza. And your referee in charge is Angel Ortiz.
Angel Ortiz gets this catchweight assignment between Rogelio Melgoza and Caleb Crump. Crump in the blue gloves, Rogelio in the red gloves. A lot of intensity between these highly experienced martial artists. David, we'll see what happens.
If looks could kill it on both sides of the cage here, these guys would be laid out already, just staring each other down.
Rogelio loading up on that left hand. Crump engaging in the clinching here. 50-50 spot, David.
Crump did a great job getting up under that big looping punch of Melgoza. Now he has him against the cage. Look to see maybe just pressure, drop down to a leg attack maybe. Looks comfortable on the body lock clinch position. Perhaps we'll see a big throw here, Ben. I'm feeling it.
We noted that Caleb Crump has 4 submission victories as a professional. This fight is right where he wants it. If you're Rogelio, how can you detach from this and get back to the center?
Essentially, he needs to get that right hand underhook a little bit higher and just continue to use his hips against the cage as he was doing to create space and perhaps circle out. Crump seems to have like a really tight lock though. Both guys seem to be comfortable hanging out in this 50-50 over and under position. If you're Crump, I mean, the good thing to do would be to split his opponent in half, maybe get his right knee in the middle of his opponent and look to take him to either side so you're not wrestling his entire strength.
Crump trying to force things a little bit here, but Melgoza simply wise to it.
Melgoza able to slip his hips out just a little bit, gets in more of a controlled position, but Crump looking for the throw. I felt it coming, however, he didn't quite set it up.
Sometimes those lateral drops work against you. Rogelio again loads up on the left hand and finds himself a victim of a takedown attempt from Crump.
Valiant effort on the throw there by Crump, however, diving in on that leg attack and kind of left his neck exposed.
Rogelio trying to direct the head of Crump, who is now deep in on the hips there, David.
Beautiful finish there by Crump. It wasn't looking good for him, but he was able to get his hips in. His feet trailed him, got the scoop, dumped his opponent on the mat, and now he's in a dominant position here, but Rogelio right back to his feet.
Beautiful awareness from Melgoza to pop back up and avoid any dangerous submissions from Crump. Midway through round number 1, pretty even affair, David.
Pretty even. Everything about this fight has been even. Their weight, the height, their record, their styles.
We talked about mirror matches earlier tonight. Seems like we are getting another serving of it. Just over 2 minutes to go. This first round brought to you by F3 Energy. No better product on the market. Give you a little bit more zip for your zap, David.
Crump doing a great job with that underhook. However, he needs to get his head on that same side. He gets the underhook, gets his head in the temple of Melgoza. He's in a much better position to pin him against the cage or even transition to a leg attack or sneak around the back there. He's a little too comfortable hanging out in this over-under position. Doing a lot of work, but not really getting anything from it.
And if you're Crump, though, this is probably preferable to exchanging strikes at range, right? Jockeying for position in the clinch.
It seems so. I mean, I don't know if this was his game plan to maybe come out and just hang on Melgoza and wear him out. Maybe he saw something that we didn't see in Melgoza, and he wants to just keep him close and just wear on his gas tank a little bit.
Angel Ortiz with the separation here. 1 minute, 15 seconds to go. Crump backing up once again. Melgoza loading up on the left hand, and now...
Beautiful hip toss there by Melgoza. I like to see him maybe transition to the back, push the head down.
Nice work from Crump here to try and build back up.
Crump just relentless on attacking those legs by any means necessary. It's very clear he does not want to stand with Melgoza here tonight. And now he's in side
Ooh.
control, so it's finally paying off for him. Let's see how Melgoza does. Off his back, does a great job of wall walking.
Not able to really move the position too much. Now he's scrambling. 30 seconds to go. Crump locking up a potential submission attempt there, but nothing going.
Melgoza definitely wants to get space and throw some strikes. Crump is not giving him an inch to breathe here.
You got to credit Crump's commitment to the game plan here. He is here to do one thing, and one thing only. It's grappling.
And it's working for him so far. It may not be the most exciting, may not be the most flashy fight for us to watch, but a win is a win. And, you know, closing out this round, it looks like he's going to be able to put this round in his back pocket.
Crump concludes round one with a solid takedown, but him and Rogelio Melgoza extend themselves to the second frame. Now, David, I gotta mention that Melgoza loaded up on every single punch when he had the opportunity to. If I'm in his corner, would you maybe say, hey, take 50% off of those shots?
He's definitely looking for the home run here. As you see, he comes in huge left hand, and Crump just gets under it and attaches himself to Melgoza. Melgoza did a great job with that hip toss, however, didn't really transition to either side fast enough, and Crump got right back to his wrestling game, looking to take Melgoza down here and just hold on him, man. He was on him like a wet cloth here. But as you were saying, yes, Melgoza is loading up with every shot, looking to put his opponent out. Maybe we touch a little bit. Maybe we throw at 25, 30% just to see if we can make contact and pick our spots instead of throwing and leveraging our entire body, and he's constantly off balance, allowing his opponent to go under for the takedown.
Round two here at the Greater Richmond Convention Center between Rogelio Melgoza and Caleb Crump, moments away.
If I'm Melgoza, I'll maybe look to lower my stance a bit as well in anticipation of that shot.
Crump now opening up with the strikes, couple kicks, but there is an inevitability to the takedown attempt as he lands a low leg kick.
No setup and just jamming that leg kick in there, which you can see Melgoza still limping on that lead leg after that leg kick.
A little bit of a Matador type moment there, and Crump giving a big spinning back kick. Beautiful takedown from Caleb Crump.
Nice takedown there. Went double leg into the leg trip, landing in half guard here.
And this is a lot of time for Crump to work pretty much in the middle of the canvas.
As we saw earlier, Melgoza was able to wall walk a little bit and get into a better position, into a sweep position. However, in the center of the cage, it's going to be a little bit harder for him to progress off his back here against Crump, who is literally just happy with hanging on here.
This is exactly what the doctor ordered for Caleb Crump, diagnosing some control time and potentially a couple submission attempts in a few minutes.
For a second, it was looking like Crump was isolating that arm there, maybe threatening it and able to transition into a full guard. However, Melgoza said, you got another thing coming. I can wrestle too.
He smelled some cookies and came out the back door. Now Rogelio Melgoza firing strikes, but clinched up once again, David.
Melgoza clearly has some power in his strikes. However, I think he needs to be a little bit dynamic. He's not doing anything wrong punching on a straight line. However, with Crump going under, he needs to angle out his punches. Let's see some hooks. Let's see some uppercuts. Let's give Crump something other to look at than those 1-2s that he's anticipating ducking under for the takedowns there.
There can be some sort of, like you mentioned, anticipation of what Crump's going to do, so trying to counteract that preemptively would likely be the smartest route as Melgoza tries to muscle up that left arm.
Crump in the position, getting his hips in. Once he gets his head up, look for him to dump his opponent here in the side guard, driving his shoulder deep into the sternum of Melgoza, as you can see on his facial expression when he got that takedown. Crump back in half guard, right in this half Nelson-like position here. Looking to isolate that left arm again. I wonder where he plans on going. But this is the second time we've seen him do this specifically, which tells me that he may be planning or setting a trap there.
2 minutes and 20 seconds to go. Melgoza trying to lift up the legs and cause a scramble. maybe interlock with the right arm of Crump. Not successful.
Melgoza, he's going the wrong direction. He's trying to get his feet to go north when really he just needs to go east or west.
Oh, Melgoza!
I stand corrected. I mean, that's just pure athleticism.
But you can only do those bursts so many times, right, David?
Well, apparently we're halfway into the second round, and he's been bursting off his back like ridiculously.
Melgoza once again trying to defend a takedown from Caleb Crump. Crump just content to wrestle here. And why not? It's working for him.
Look, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I don't think the crowd is going to be too excited about that, but
unfortunately, it's Melgoza's job to deny these takedown attempts and reverse the momentum as he powers back up to his feet once again. Beautiful, just complete determination from Melgoza.
Melgoza does a great job of getting his hips out and just creating scramble positions. Now, clearly here, he doesn't want to be in the grappling exchange, which is why I'm curious why he didn't just create distance and create space while he had the opportunity. Now you're back in Crump's world. You did all of that work only to be back in a worse position than you started from.
Melgoza elevating the hips and the legs, trying to create some entanglements and pop out.
Once again, trying to get his feet over Crump. I mean, that's a very unorthodox approach to being on your back there, but it seems to be working here from Melgoza.
Talk to me about these elbows to the midsection of Melgoza.
It's beautiful. I like it. High IQ stuff there. Just can drain the gas tank of your opponent there. It's not about landing damage and it's not about hurting your opponent, but every time he breathes in and he feels that elbow, he's not going to breathe in as much, which means he's not going to recover as much, which means you can lay on him and hold him a lot longer than you probably would if you didn't.
He is known as the Conundrum, and he is certainly causing one for Rogelio Melgoza as we find ourselves in the third and final round of this catchweight contest. David Evans, it seems like Rogelio Melgoza needs a stoppage.
Crump is out here grinding with his wrestling, if I say so myself. Just relentless in his pursuit to getting Melgoza down to the mat and horizontal, as he does with a beautiful double leg to the outside trip there, landing directly in a half guard, which has really been the story of the night so far for Crump. Get the takedown, get on top of your opponent, and hold him. Melgoza had a few moments where he was able to create some exciting scrambles, but really wasn't educated in his approach to the scrambles after that, and often found himself either back in the same position that he was in or in a worse position, with Crump on the offensive, attacking the leg attacks, getting him horizontal to the mat here.
Caleb Crump taking some deep breaths, as does Rogelio Melgoza. And you hate to sort of state it, but maybe it's a fight IQ type conversation where, hey, Melgoza, stop grappling.
Yes, for sure. I mean, I say this to people that I coach, whether it's wrestling or fighting. If you're not good in a position, don't be there. Mm-hmm. There's no rule book that says we have to grapple in the MMA match. We know where your strengths are. Melgoza seems to have power in that hand. Let's be dynamic with his strikes and set up his opponent, not spam a leg kick so his opponent can grab it and end up back in the clinch position, perhaps.
Crump brings him back down once again. This fight is just being handed to him on a silver platter. He is directly back where we ended round number 2, and there goes Melgoza, lifting and arcing the hips to the sky, but I just don't think that is a logical move at this point in the game. And
I don't want to, we've been talking about what Melgoza is doing wrong. I don't want to take credit away from Crump, you know. His relentless pursuit to the wrestling and to the takedown is really paying dividends for him in these later rounds.
Melgoza's back has been taken. Now Crump is trying to lock in a rear naked choke.
And speaking of paying dividends, perhaps Melgoza is going to pay the ultimate price here.
Third round submission for the Conundrum, Caleb Crump.